It's time for a pit stop. Here, we take a brief rest. It's time to refuel, recharge, and explore shorter topics that are meaningful and helpful to us RVers. Joining us today is Fireman Ken, a professional firefighter, and he is going to chat with us about to propane or not to propane when you're driving down the road. Thank you, Ken, for joining us. I'm looking forward to talking to you about this.
Thanks for having me.
Why did you want to become a firefighter, and how long have you been a professional firefighter?
Fire trucks are cool. I mean, everybody knows that. But in all honesty, it's a privilege to be a firefighter. I mean, it's so awesome to be able to have the honor of going to help people in their lowest moment. I mean, they let you into their house that you've never met. I mean, that no other profession allows you to do that, trying to help them out.
That's cool. How long have you been doing it?
28 years total.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. Well, I'm going to just dive right into it because this is just a bit of our short segment. So as a firefighter, what is your official stance on driving with the propane on in your RV?
When it comes to travel, obviously my official stance is going to always shut off your propane. One of the greatest risks of traveling while the tank is on is a possible leak, finding an ignition source. If this happens while you're driving, it's going to be catastrophic. If you have a travel trailer that you're towing, you are basically towing, a fireball, and you pull over, you're going to use your tow vehicle also, because there's no way you're going to be able to, undo your trailer and get your rig off in that amount of time. Trailers go up pretty quick.
Have you ever witnessed a trailer RV fire out on the job?
By the time we get to them, I mean, it's a total loss. Again, they go up super fast. There's not much to them. We're usually there within, 6 minutes is our goal time of any fire department in the state of Washington. So we usually get there pretty quick, depending on where they are. Obviously, with travel trailers, a lot of them are in rural areas. I mean, that's why you go camping, right?
Right.
And so it's a total loss, usually by the time we get to them. And if they're going down freeways and stuff like that, again, it takes you time to get to them, and depending on the area that you're at.
What has typically been the ignition?
The cause of RV fires, especially during travel, are brakes overheating, the wheel bearings.
Oh, I didn't even think about those.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't matter if you have a new trailer or an old trailer. Get your wheel bearings and brakes checked annually.
Okay. Now let's put on a different hat, and now let's just go Ken on vacation, not a professional fireman, with regards to leaving your propane on.
In the past, of course, like if I'm going over a ferry, it's the law to shut off my tanks. So I always shut off my tanks. But I've also, in the past, I have left my tanks on. I think that's just due to, hey, I don't want my food to thaw out and go bad. Or, we also have some insulin for our diabetic one-eyed cat that can't, go bad.
Wait, that's a diabetic one-eyed cat, you said?
Oh, yes. Diabetic one-eyed cat.
Nice.
The thought of the insulin going bad, I mean, that's not cheap. In the past, I've left my fridges on. I need to take my professional advice, and I might be correcting my own behavior. During travel, shut your propane off and use your fridge as your cooler. If it's an extended period of time, when you pull over for a rest stop, turn your propane back on, get your fridge going, get it cool again, and then continue your travel. It's just a lot safer that way.
Okay. Are there any other thoughts on RV propane safety?
As far as safety goes, like I said, make sure that you annually get your brakes, wheel bearings checked out, make sure everything's greased and good to go. Always kind of go over your system annually, your propane system, check for leaks, cracks, in the hoses or worn connections. Make sure you have a working smoke detector. I know a lot of us, when we're cooking, have a tendency to take the battery out of the smoke detector because we're always setting the smoke detector off in an RV. Also, make sure your CO2 detector and your LP detectors, super important. I mean, that stuff kills you. With LP, with propane, you obviously have mercaptan in it, so it has that smell to it. Otherwise, if it didn't have that, it's a odorless, tasteless gas that basically it's an asphyxiant, so it can kill you. Make sure you have a fire extinguisher. The RV extinguishers that they usually come with, they're small.
Inadequate.
Very.
So what size would you recommend?
Something that would fit adequately in your RV. Keep it where, maybe on an egress where you can get to it easily, maybe so make sure you have a good, decent size extinguisher, something that can actually do something. Just treat propane with respect. It's one of the safest gases that you can use. everyone just thinks it's, a gas that can't hurt you. But it can when used improperly.
And now on a more fun subject, as we start to wrap up, where is your favorite place to camp in Washington State and why?
I have so many favorite spots. My wife and I really, really enjoy the Washington State parks. One of my favorites is Fort Worden. That is where I got engaged.
Oh, wonderful.
So, over by the lighthouse. So I would have to say that's one of my favorites.
That's so awesome.
It's just a cool place. I mean, with the batteries there, the history, watching the cruise ships going through the waterway, Glass Beach. It's just a really cool place.
Fair enough. Well, Ken, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. I really appreciate you offering your tips and suggestions on propane safety. And I think now I'm probably going to start driving with mine off.
I agree. I need to start, like I said, practicing what I preach and being a little bit safer. That old saying, "It will never happen to me."
Yeah.
Those are the fires I go to.
Well, I appreciate your honesty on that too. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. This was great.
Thanks so much for listening to RV Out West. Join us again in 2 weeks with our next episode. Please like and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or wherever you choose to get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. And I sure would appreciate if you left a rating or a review of the show. Special thanks to Scott Holmes Music for providing the intro song, We Are One. RV Out West can be found on Instagram and Facebook, where you can interact with us and follow along on our RV adventures around the Pacific Northwest. So get out there, explore, and go see what's beyond the horizon.